Hello, Queenand. Dumalang Sunny Bonani. It's 7:30 Central African Time. Hello, Queenand. Welcome to the top tier of Breakaway League Racing. My name is Bob O'Connor. We are in Japan today. We will have 27 laps of racing once this qualifying session is completed. Now, we have 10 drivers represented on the grid as things stand. We hope that more will join us, especially as the clock strikes 8 and the load shedding schedule renders some of our drivers, our eligible drivers in the top tier, eligible to race when the power gets restored. So those who can or who will join us at 8 o'clock will, of course, not have the privilege of taking part in any of Q1, 2, and 3. But hopefully it's a fantastic race, especially if we have a little bit of drama sprinkled here throughout. Mandla is here representing AlphaTauri. The sole representative for Ferrari here today is Teppo Temba. He is here. Mshangu represents Mercedes. It looks like Brown Boy is the only driver representing Red Bull here today. Similar case for Ban Kobe as far as McLaren is concerned. And what about Clay, the championship leader? He's here. He's ready. He's ready to throw it all down, lay it all down. It looks like for the first time in a while, we have full representation as far as Williams is concerned. Both Kaboza and Buda are ready to take part in this year's race. Welcome to Suzuka. As I say that, Tapiso makes his presence felt in the paddock, as does, Mshengu, who I did mention. D-Wax and Gawako is also here. So it's a full house as far as the AlphaTauri, Ferrari, and Williams teams are concerned. Zotal's teammate Mfundo is not yet to be seen. Perhaps we will see him when the clock strikes 8 o'clock, and he could take part in the race proper, so that team, the French Works team, will be making sure that, of course, all those drivers are ready when the time comes. It's been an interesting season, dominated by Clay in the Haas. He leads the championship, 290 points Clay has. A heck of a lead thus far. Brown Boy is 159 points behind on 131 points. And that being said, yes, he's far behind, but what a season for Brown Boy. And Sika, the debutante as far as Tier 1 Breakaway League Racing is concerned. Beautiful season for him. And behind him on the point standings is Malusi the Malusi, the third and final driver in the triple digits with 100 championship points. Teppo Temba has 98. He's fourth. Zotail is fifth in the driver standings with 95 points. And then Lungs in the other Red Bull is P6 on 61 points. Josh, aka Damnesia, despite missing so many races, currently sits P7 in the driver standings, 60 points. And he's tailed by his teammate Loveness, whose recent podium sees him climb up to 53 championship points. P8 for Loveness. Mandla has vowed never to partake in the playoffs again. Well, he's doing a good job. He's well and truly comfortable in the middle of the standings. P9 for Mandla, 45 points. Ban Kobe, P10 for McLaren, 41 points. Kaboza, despite missing a couple of races recently, including one of his favorite tracks, that being the Netherlands, has 37 points and takes his spot in P11. And Nebo, P12 in the championship. D-Wax, P13. Tapiso, P14. And currently eligible for the playoff spots are Mfundo, Titus, and Esbuda from P15 to P17. And currently occupying the automatic relegation spots are Liddy in the McLaren, just 11 championship points. Mshangu for Mercedes has 3 championship points. And Inati, who has not been sharp as far as responding to the and indicating his availability for races, has suffered some points deduction, currently sitting on -1 points. And bottom of the championship standings is the Aston Martin driver. So, a lot to do for the likes of Inati to make sure that he can secure his spot in the championship next season, but he's got a long way to go. It's going to be a heck of a fight for Inati to secure his spot. Looks like both Hasses are now represented, and Zotal might have had a little bit of a connection issue. He has rejoined the lobby. But we're going to watch how Tepiso fares. Of course, he does not waste time, does Tepiso. Likes to come straight hot out of the blocks and be one of the first drivers to set a time. Now, here he comes. He's made his way out of the twisty first sector, and now he begins his march towards the second sector in that Ferrari. Tepiso currently yet to set a time. He'll be one of the first to do so. I'm joined in the commentary box by the one, the only Tindo, who's on a mission to fight his way back to the top tier. We saw how he fared yesterday. Tindo, good evening.
You're fighting. Chetu is just something else, eh? I think Chetu is better now. Yes, I'm literally enjoying it. But hey, it's only that there's always ABCDs, that you still need to put in together, and with the pace wise and stuff like that. I think 8, I'm not getting the pace now. 8.
It's such a competitive tier is the second tier, but we'll touch on that in the second. Oh, Tepiso was taking the first treacherous turn 1, and he came unstuck. Thankfully, did not hit take too much damage as far as hitting the wall is concerned, so he's going to have to abandon that hot lap attempt, and of course he comes onto the grass and makes way for the Red Bull of Brown Boy, who's just begun his stints through this oh-so-tricky Sector 1, twisty, and you've got to be selective as far as how hard you choose to go on the curves. We're seeing Brown Boy being absolutely careful, not taking too many liberties, but as I say that, he goes too hard into the curves, and he faces the wrong direction. Sikle retires from the session. Sikle might have come unstuck on Sector 1. Sikle has retired from the session. What is going on? He did not set a time. He might have crashed off camera, Sikle. It looks like that is the case, because Emlet was still in the pits. And if you look on the track map on the bottom right, there's a white dot, that being Sikle's Haas, which has come unstuck right here in Sector 1. Nobody has made it out safely through Sector 1. What about M. Shangu? Well, he seems to be the only other driver giving it a go. Spin City, says Nkasana. M. Shangu, his heart is going to be pounding. He knows this is a golden opportunity for him to start to rack up some points. As fellows asking, what is happening? Oh well, says Sikle in the comment section. Perhaps he can give us a little bit of some insight into what happened. He says it's been a cold track. Well, of course, Sikle with an uncharacteristic mistake, and will now have to fight his way from the back of the pack out here in Japan. And well, if the track is to be, or rather, if this race is to be a fuller grid than we currently see, then Sikle is going to have his work cut out for him. But M. Shangu is the first man to make it out of Sector 1 unscathed, and that being a purple Sector 1 for M. Shangu, who has been struggling for points in this season, but will be the first to lay down an early marker. Surprising start to this qualifying section, Tindo, as you watch M. Shangu take the rest of Sector 2.
Yeah, hey, it's a tricky one. Once you count the curves, they don't have mercy. They don't have mercy, trust me. These curves here, they are ruthless.
They are absolutely ruthless. You've got to be careful. We saw consecutive drivers coming unstuck there. Brown Boy, of course, that's not a representative time. The first representative time will be by none other than M. Shangu, who will take solace from the fact that his teammate is also here. He will open up that real main cross the line with a 132.907. The first representative time that we see out here today. Mandla is also out on track. He's going to cross the line, go even quicker. 132.1 for the Alpha Tauri driver. It looks like, is it Kaboza or S. Buddha? Yes, S. Buddha hasn't validated, but there's another car behind. It might be D-Wax, who's currently going to complete his hot lap. He crosses the line. P2 tucks right behind his teammate. 132.356 for the other Alpha Tauri driver. Well, a dramatic start to this qualifying session, but we're still running. Proceedings are well and truly underway. Let's hop on board now with Teppo Temba making his way at the beginning of the third sector, but he's just invalidated as Teppo Temba. Oh my word. Sikle, meanwhile, was speaking about how cold the track was, and that is why he came unstuck unceremoniously. It's quite rare that we see Sikle being forced out of the qualifying by virtue of some sort of an issue on track. And he does say in the paddock that his rear setup, his rear wing perhaps is low and the front is high as far as the setup is concerned.
That's why he lost it. That's why he lost it. His rear one should be high at least.
Well, we'll see what he can do. Brown Boy has set his first representative time, crosses the line with a 1:31.712. Tindo, your impressions of that time? Oh, it's Buddha has an almighty spin. We're on board as the Williams driver. Everybody is struggling with track conditions here. As Buddha makes way, he comes onto the right-hand side of the track. Mandla is the quickest man on track thus far. On his second run, he sets a 1:31.681. Tindo, your impressions of what kind of times you can expect here today?
Hey, Sitler is out today, so I think Melo, this is Melo's track. You might go to 129 days, Melo. Melo, this is his track. I know he's very good at this. And Zotao, it's 50-50 chance, but Melo, I'm going for Melo. And Melo, you might set 129.5 or 129 straight. He might do that because this track is actually his favorite.
Malusi's favorite track as Van Kobe passes the Sector 2 marker with the time of the 1:15 at the end of Sector 2, that is. Here he comes now to complete his first representative run for McLaren. Van Kobe, what can you do on behalf of the Papaya Orange team? It's P3 132.256. Tindo reckons we might see a time in the mid-129s. C-Clay in the paddock reckons a time in the 129s was well and truly on the cards for him. And, well, it sucks sitting out of qualification, says C-Clay, in unfamiliar territory, having to watch this session take place from the pits, of course. Meanwhile, let's hop on board with the man, Zotile, who is enjoying a bit of a renaissance as far as pace and performance is concerned. He's well and truly accustomed to the racing wheel of Zotile, and right now he is comfortable as far as the championship points are concerned. P5 in the standings right now, and let's see what he can do. He crosses the end of Sector 2 with a 1:15.8, so he's looking perhaps to challenge the likes of D-Wax with his initial first run. He starts off this chicane, which will have good memories for Zotile. He had a titanic tussle with C-Clay a couple of seasons at that chicane. Let's see how he crosses the line now. It's going to be P6 behind him, Shengu. And, of course, that is 133.4. Meanwhile, Malusi on his favorite hunting ground. He crossed the end of Sector 2 with a time of the 1:14s, significantly quicker than we've seen with a couple of the onboards now. So, is this a time to challenge Mandla, Brown Boy, Van Kobe? It looks like that might just be the case. He comes towards the line and he crosses the line. It's P3. It's a 1:31.9. That red light is flashing, so perhaps Malusi is going to be happy just to bring that Mercedes W13 back home. And Tindo, we've already seen 3 drivers so far in the 131s. Perhaps they're not pushing to the absolute maximum. But I suppose the real battle as far as this qualification is concerned is going to be in Q2 when all these drivers will be getting knocked out if they don't set good enough times.
Yeah, true. I think they're just putting out some time because now they are relaxed. They know City is out, so there's nothing, no time to beat up. So yeah, let's just see. Maybe the surprises today. Sheng is there in the top 6. And if Buddha can also improve and stop spinning, I'm sure he can do better. Because he's been our cruciate of the season so far.
As Buddha not yet coming to grips as far as performances are concerned, but a very talented driver in his own right. He knows what he needs to do. Seppo Temba ends Sector 2 with a 1:14.5. So this is going to be interesting if he keeps it together on the final sector. He does not have too many issues through the beginning of that chicane, but he came a little bit unstuck towards the end there. He's going to cross the line, 131.7. That's P3 for Seppo Temba. The Ferrari, his teammate, Myron in P10. Not a representative time for Tepiso, I might add. Meanwhile, Enebo was following closely behind the Ferrari. He crosses the line, and it's a P8 for the Haas driver. He is going to be the only person with the hopes of Haas for the rest of this qualifying session. 7 minutes of this Q1 to go. Caboza and Tepiso have yet to really set their representative times. So we'll see what they still have in the bag. Is Malusi giving it a go? No, not necessarily. He's probably coming back into the pits at that pace. Tepo Temba looks to be also not necessarily sending it, or is he? Oh, let's stay on board with the Ferrari driver for a little bit and see. No, he's definitely making room for the car following behind, which is the Haas of Inebo, whose teammate Cikle says he will come in clutch. Well, let's see if that is indeed the case. And Lebo on his second run, he knows what he has to do now. He carries the hopes of Haas. Oh, Haas has really relented there. He lifted off the throttle quite significantly there. Don't know if he was really abandoning that hot lap attempt, but by the end of Sector 2, it'll be a split 7/10 slower. So, yeah, I think this is Nebo making his way back.
Is actually on a very, very good lap. He's actually took the first sector paper. I'm sure he's going to take the second one as well. He's really flying.
Ooh, the end of Sector 2 is a 114.3. Superb stuff from the Williams driver, who missed the race on his favorite track, that being the Netherlands. He starts that chicane fairly without incident. Let's see now how he will cross the line. He points that Williams straight, and it's a 131.5. Tindo, you were spot on, the quickest man by a tenth or so. He pips Mandla to the P1 spot, and he's happy to retire from the session, having set his first representative time. Everybody's back in the pits, with the exception of Tapiso, who is now at the end of Sector 2, having crossed that marker with a 115.8. What will it be now? He comes to the right-hander of that final chicane without too much incident. Oh, has a bit of a snap there, and that'll cost him as far as time is concerned. But it's P11. He tucks right ahead of Esbuda, who's also happy just to stay in the pits. 13 drivers on this grid here today. Cikle is the story of the day. Instead of topping the timesheets today, he has crashed out, spending the rest of Q2 and Q3 watching, frustratingly. And but of course, Cikle being Cikle, do not be surprised to see him fighting his way from the back of the pack.
He's the first. He's always the first one. So today he decides to crash first.
No, Cikle what I it's actually last to first challenge. What I think if I get one day, Maraba, it has I know Mahali, Cikle, why if I get one day. I came out, has manje mapisa ngabo ngamaspanel ngamapupe chance panel.
I'm actually laughing at Stepo when Cikle crashed. How can't you can be human now on this game?
I'm only human, says Cikle. Absolutely, surprising stuff. Tapiso, who did set his representative time, has currently invalidated this particular attempt. So, not sure if he's just going to be content to keep on going. Likes of Malusi and Kaboza are happy with their times. They've retired in the pits and are happy to move on to Q2. 3.5 minutes of this qualifying session to go. Looks like Zotal is going to give it another go. And as I say that, he's now making his way. He's in the second sector. He crosses that marker with a 115.8, I think it was. But yeah, that's a bit of a glitch as far as the timings are concerned. So we're about to watch Zotal give it a final go, perhaps. Perhaps he's going to go for a lap or two. Here he goes now towards turn 1, the twisty, tricky sector, which has claimed, quite a few sculpts already. He tries not to go too wide, does Zotal. Here comes the S section. How liberal will he be as far as the curves are concerned? Not too heavy, but he's still in gear 6, but he's not flat out as far as that throttle is concerned. He's going to take the final left-hander out to conclude the S section, and down towards the slower right-hander coming up now. Then he's going to make his way down the hill. He's gone 7/10 quicker, has Zotal.
That's quicker.
At the end of Sector 1. And he's going to send it downhill towards this slow left-hander. Takes it down all the way down to the third gear. You hear those tires screeching on that Alpine, points it straight. And it's pedal to the metal as he's going to go downhill once again. And the second sector split is some way ahead, of course. We're going to see whether or not he matches the likes of Kaboza and Mandla, who said that Kaboza's time was in the 114s at the end of Sector 2. What about Zotal for Alpine? down towards 130R. It is going to be still 8/10 quicker, but it's a 114.9. So not exactly at Caboza's pace at that split at the end of Sector 2. His favorite chicane, I'm pretty sure, Zotile. And let's see now how he will cross the line, opening up that GRS. And it's P6, 1.1 seconds quicker, but not quite quick enough.
I thought he was quicker, you know? I thought he was quicker. Maybe it was showing us the minus 8/10 from his time.
Yeah,
I thought maybe it was an overall thing.
No, it's usually from the personal best. So he was at that point he was 8/10 quicker than his personal best at that marker. He's also happy right now to retire the car and begin the countdown towards Q2. And Brown Boy has also followed suit. As things stand, Caboza, the quickest man through Q1, followed by Mandla, still in the pits, and Brown Boy, third quickest. Seppo Temba, with that 131.7, is fourth quickest man out on track in Q1. Malusi the Malusi, fifth. Zotal, sixth. Ban Kobe, seventh. And then we have Engelwacko, D-Wax, eighth quickest. Mshangu, ninth quickest. And Nebo, the Haas, 10th quickest from Tepiso and Esbuda. And C-Clay, sadly, crashed out of Q1. Let's go, Zozo, says Deanie in the comment section. And Liddy is also getting involved out here. It's going to be interesting to see how you catch up to the front runners. Liddy in conversation with C-Clay in the paddock there. Yes, we've seen C-Clay fight his way back from the back of the pack, of course, at that reverse grid on the sprint races. And, well, it's going to be the likes of whoever is stuck towards the back of the pack is going to have their work cut out to keep C-Clay at bay. But there you have it. Everybody from Caboza to Esbuda is through to Q2. And then we will have a shootout. Two drivers are going to get knocked out. And then, of course, we look forward to our top 10 shootout in the battle for pole position. Tindo, apart from Malusi the Malusi, do you reckon the likes of Teppo Temba and maybe even Brown Boy could be challenging? Teppo Temba, interestingly, has switched off the racing line. He is now driving with less, or one less, so one fewer assist than most of the grid. So that's interesting. And he says he's found a bit of pace as a result, Tindo.
Yeah, no. I think it works because now, you know, when you have brake assist on, it's that racing line, it always drags your car, especially on this track. Yeah. On the first corner there, if you have it on, I saw it yesterday. You know, like when you're trying to overtake, when you reach to that corner, the car just drops the space, and I feel like maybe it might work on this track if you have it off, because you know you brake at a certain time when you want to brake, and also. For Brown Boy, I think Brown Boy is also a threat on this track. He's just reserving his own magic there, his magic hands. And also, I'm still not counting out Melo and Koboz as well. He seems to be improved. He has improved actually a lot. Ever since the last season, the end of last season, Koboz has been on fire. So, yeah, I'm hoping for him as well, you know.
Yep, that is going to be interesting to pay close attention to. C-Clay in the paddock, currently with the unfamiliar sight of not seeing his name on the timing sheets in a Q2 session. So we'll see how he fares. Tepiso is in the comments. His inverter is on the verge of dying. Oh, that is tragic stuff there. Yes, we hope Tepiso's battery does not die before his power comes back.
Kid K says he needs to relocate to Durban, you know.
The KZN is calling Tepiso. Hopefully he does not have any sort of issues as far as connection is concerned. Behind the Ferrari is Brown Boy, who seemed to have went off track a little bit. So we're going to stay on board with the Red Bull and see how he fares on his initial representative lap. He's, currently tailing the Ferrari, which leads the pack thus far. Malusi the Malusi and Nebo, as well as Ban Kobe, currently have yet to come out, but it looks like, as I say that, Malusi and Nebo are indeed on their outlap. So Ban Kobe biding his time in the pits and he will just perhaps just wait for that track evolution. Brown Boy, what a beautiful debut season he's having. He's a superb talent, Tindo. He's taken to tier 1 like a duck to water. He's currently second in the standings.
He is actually good, Brown Boy. I don't know what he was doing in tier 2. It took him long to come here on tier 1. He's actually good. I think of the guys who came from tier 2, he's the most, I would say, the most improved one. The other one, they're still scraping results, but and he's actually proving it with he can actually challenge for the top 3, top 3. I would say that top 3, because he's actually showing flames the other guys who are who have been in tier 1 for a long time.
Yeah, absolutely. He's a fantastic ambassador for really fighting your way through the tiers. And right now, he is in the top tier, I would say. So let's see how he fares now. He's made his way safely through that first sector, driving on the limits. We could feel the rear of the car really giving in, but not quite spinning out the way that he did on his first representative attempt. It's Brown Boy, who has Seaplay ahead of him, of course, will likely cross the line first. Will go quite heavy on that curb on the left there. And what will his split be at the end of this second sector? It's Brown Boy for Red Bull, holding hopes of the team from Milton Keynes on his shoulder. Lung's not representing him today. It's a split of a 114.3. This is going to be a superb effort from Brown Boy, perhaps in the low 131s, similar to what the Capoza did to top the timesheet in Q1. This is Q2 with just over 11 minutes to go. It's Brown Boy going to cross the line, 131.4, a sensational effort. And here comes, I believe, one of Capoza or Esbuda. No, it's Capoza on the verge of crossing the line now. Can he challenge Brown Boy? Yes! 132.022 for the Williams driver. Beautiful stuff. And Mshengu has invalidated. What about Malusi? The Malusi, he is still further back on, he's about to begin, he's making his way through the second sector. He's on his way to the split to begin the third sector, but he still has to navigate this left-hander. Someone's made way for him. No issues for Malusi there. You have to be very careful. And he comes through this sequence of left-handers unscathed. He will send that car hurtling down towards the famous 130R corner. What will be his split? 114.1. The quickest split that we've definitely seen on our onboards here today. Expect Malusi to challenge Capoza, who tops the timesheet with that 131.0. Unscathed through that final chicane. It's Malusi, the Malusi, to cross the line. P3. Interestingly, Seppo Temba pips Malusi the Malusi for P2 in that Ferrari. Interesting. Absolutely interesting, Tindo.
Very, very, very interesting. I thought Malusi was actually quick. I think the last corner killed him. The last corner, that's where he lost so much time, because he was actually like flying on I think he did 114.1 from the other guy's name. So I think the last corner is actually the one that took away most of his time.
Yeah. Definitely something to watch here. Meanwhile, Mshengu's Sector 2 split was a 114.6. He's on the verge of crossing the line now for his, what will be his initial representative time, but it does look like he was pushing. It's a 135.3 there. So Mshengu definitely lifted off as far as his push was concerned. Let's hop on board now with the other Haas driver, Nebo, who now holds the hopes of Haas on his shoulders, and he knows that he just does not want to be one of the two drivers who will be knocked out at the end of Q2 here, as the clock ticks ever closer towards the battle for the top 10 shootout. Capoza tops the time sheets. He's back in the pits. Bad Kobe is also currently out on a hot lap run. What can Nebo do? I did not note that split at the end of Sector 2. He did
115. He did 115.
115 was his split at the end of Sector 2. He comes now towards the line. 132.1. It's P6 for Nebo. Will he be safe? That is the question. What about Mshengu? How far back is he? No, he's also has seemingly just lifted off a bit. Looks like Malusi came back into the pits. Mandla is not pushing. So what about Van Kobe? He's one that we haven't been on board with here in Q2. Green flags. Perhaps somebody was moving too slowly a little bit earlier on, bringing out a yellow flag. Van Kobe's now going to make his way towards a sequence of left-handers. That car's going to have to make way if it's on a slow lap. Oh, he's really in the way. Was that September? Causing Van Kobe to send his cars turtling, spinning into the wall. Oh, he was... It was Tepiso. September's in the pits. It was Tepiso who was out on track on the racing line.
Come on, guys.
And Van Kobe's quali was compromised, and he will be seething. He sent that rear straight into the wall. And
fuming, right?
He is absolutely fuming.
He's boiling right now.
He is going to be on a one-way towards these stewards, perhaps. You can't park in the... You can't park there, mate, says Glenn Carson in the comment section. And it looks like Anzalo is definitely on his way back. Tepiso, is he giving it another go? Is Tepiso? Yes, Tepiso did slow down, but right now he's definitely pushing. Ban Quizzle, says Wandal Chesney in the comment section, having watched that huge crash that the Van Kobe sent it into the wall there, having tried to avoid this man, Tepiso. Well, he's already set to representative 133.0. He's trying now to improve his Tepiso in the Ferrari. They've had a couple of skirmishes, have Tepiso and Van Kobe. I remember incidents, I think it was in Baku, where they had a coming together. Yeah, definitely a little bit of needle between those two drivers. What can Tepiso do here? 3-lap old soft tires. Can he improve? It's going to take some doing. This was the exact spot, of course, that he compromised Van Kobe's recent run. And what will his split be at the end of the second sector? Tepiso will have a 115.0. He's 5/10 quicker than his previous best. So at the very least, he's looking to improve and perhaps even challenge Enebo for that P7 spot. D-Wax, if you can really put one together. It's Tepiso towards the line, and it's P8. He tucks right between Enebo and Zotal.
I think
on track. Yes.
I think, sorry to cut you there. I think we need to start having X-score, I mean, like during a live race, you know, because instant like that, what Ubanobi just experienced now, it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate for him that he had to crash and go out, and Uteps is still continuing. You know, I think we need to start introducing penalties on after qualifying. Like we need to punish the person and they feel it, because now imagine he can take a podium, and then what next now? What about Banobi? You know, to be fair, you know, because Banobi didn't do anything wrong. He was just slow in his way. We need to start penalizing people before the race or during the race, because this thing of after race we're gonna investigate.
There's another Ferrari in the way of Zotal. Was that Tepiso again?
It's him again.
Tepiso was on the racing line again, even though he was on it. He had invalidated.
Yeah, because the thing of us, okay, we're gonna send the video to the Exco, whatever. No, we are seeing it now. You know, let's deal with it now.
Yeah.
You know.
And Zotal has to also come off there and pretty much lift off. But yes, sorry I cut you off. Even Brown Boy, his race might have been, his line might have been compromised there. Yes, Tendo, carry on.
No, I'm done. But I'm just saying what we need to deal with this kind of situation on the dot. You say, okay, we are gonna do a personalized grid. So you're getting a grid penalty for this reason or what you did. It's negative. If it's 5 grid or it's 10 grid penalty, give him a 10, because they need to feel the punishment. Not to we're gonna wait after the race. How are you gonna do it? You're gonna deduct points? No. We deal with it now. Yeah,
that is an interesting proposal, of course. Brown Boy almost sent it into the pit wall there, but he still managed to improve. 131.0, he's P3 now. What about Esbuda looking to improve on his prospects? He's currently going 4/10 quicker, but is he abandoning his attempt? Well, yes. Yes, he's definitely abandoning that. He's going to give it another go, making way, getting off the racing line. Was that or Mercedes that had passed us, Buddha? No, it looks like Mshengu is some way behind the likes of Buddha with 2 minutes and 47 seconds of this qualifying session to go. Kaboza is safely through to Q3, topping the timesheets from Tepo Temba and Brown Boy. Malusi also safe. His teammate Mshengu currently P11. As I say that, Malusi goes quickest by some margin, 130.664. Malusi with a scorcher of a lap as we watch Mshengu attempt to claw his way into the top 10. He's 5/10 quicker than his previous best is Mshengu. And of course, he is in a battle of his life to make Q3 versus Buddha. He needs to keep it together and stick it on the right line now. 2 minutes of the session to go, and Mshengu goes P5.
Mshengu.
P5 for the Mercedes driver. He will be ecstatic with that to take part in Q3.
I think the Mercedes had a chat just now. They said something they did was all of a sudden Mshengu this quick. Let's just say the first lap now as well. They had a discussion somewhere.
He's having a fantastic time out there. Zotal knows he's at risk, as does Tepiso, perhaps. There was a Mercedes making way for Buddha, who we're on board with now. Currently P11, 134.0 is nowhere near close enough to be challenging. Tindo, what will be a time to keep you safe here? I suppose a time in the mid 131s will have you feeling definitely safe here.
I think 131.5 you'll be safe. Because all the slowest guys are literally out, on track. So Mshengu is safe. I would say that he's safe. But everyone else from Mandla is things can actually change, for him.
Yeah. Buddha deciding to abandon that lap. Abandoning his attempt. Of course, he had a huge moment on that final curve. So he's perhaps just waving the white flag and I
don't think Zota is gonna push because it's pointless. Just rather save your tires, or maybe he's not aware that Buddha retired.
Perhaps
looks like it's not aware.
He's still gonna give it a go. 30 seconds of the session to go. Buddha's in the pit, so Zotal didn't have to, but here we go nonetheless on board with him. Has a bit of a snap there. Tepiso retires in the pits, and of course, I'm pretty sure the likes of Van Kobe and even Zotal earlier would have had a word or two with him on the racing line. But let's see how Zotal fares through the rest of this Sector 1 unscathed. No incidents here. And the right-hander, you can come unstuck here and invalidate, but he keeps it together tight onto the apex on both of those right-handers. And we now have the countdown to see what his Sector 2 split time will be. You hear those tires screeching on that Alpine. Zotal points it straight down. He's going to hurtle it down the hill towards the left-handers. Spoon curve, I believe it's called. Yes, here comes Zotal. It's a 102, 104. Fifth gear. He's going to point it straight down towards 130R. The last man out on track. Malusi is the quickest man through Q2. Kaboza P2, Tepiso P3. Zotal has a 115.1 as his split. He is now going to be the last man running and unscathed through that chicane. Can he pip Tepiso is the question. And the answer is no, still P10. Is Zotal. So interesting proceedings there. Tepiso has made it through to Q3. So he could breathe a sigh of relief there. He has safely made it through. That is your top 10. Malusi, 130.6. The only man in the 130s. Kaboza, P2. Tepo Temba, third quickest. Brown Boy, fourth quickest. Mshengu, fifth. Romeo, sixth. And Ngawako, D-Wax, seventh. And Nebo, eighth. Tepiso P9, and Zotal is the last man through to Q3. It's the top 10 shootout up next here in Suzuka. Thank you for tuning in to the top tier of Breakaway League Racing. Malusi, one of numerous drivers who've used 2 sets of tires in this session. Brown Boy and Mshengu, of course, among those as well. All right, Tindo, absolutely interesting stuff here. I'm just going to make sure that Liddy is invited into this session. But if I have issues, maybe Tindo, you can also help me to make sure that Liddy has got that invite. Of course, now being 8 o'clock, or well after 8 o'clock, the load shedding affected drivers.
Oh yeah, I see.
Let me see if I can make sure that Liddy is invited. Right, it's clear skies at the beginning of Q3. C-Clay, pretty sure, as we mentioned earlier, in the unfamiliar position of watching this qualifying session like a fan, and C-Clay's fans are watching alongside him. But C-Clay knows the work that he has to do. He knows, of course, he's going to be watching. Ooh, carefully, there's a Haas and a Williams having a bit of a coming together there. Almost, yeah, a huge incident there. Looks like Brown Boy is the first fan out on track. And Seppo Temba following closely behind. We're going to stay with the Ferrari driver and see how he fares here. Make sure we've got all the necessary info that we need. Seppo Temba, what a season he's had thus far. 98 points. He's on the brink of those triple digits, that being Malusi, Brown Boy, and C-Clay. P4 in the driver's standings is at Seppo Temba. Solid, phenomenally gifted driver. And he's had an interesting season thus far. Has the Ferrari man. He has finished second. That was, I think, way back in Singapore that he finished P2, did Seppo Temba, and most recently he placed fourth in Japan. So he's been racking up those points. Most races that he's involved in, without incident, he manages to put a decent race together. And as things stand, he's one of 9 drivers looking to lay down an early marker. Ahead of Seppo Temba is Brown Boy. And we'll see how he fares on those fresh sets of soft tires. We're on board now with the Ferrari driver. If you've just joined us, 9.5 minutes of this third and final qualifying session to go. He toys with the track limits, though, Seppo Temba, looking to carry as much speed into those initial corners as possible. Down to 5th gear through the initial part of this S section. He hits that curve quite significantly, but no issues for the Ferrari driver. Bit of a snap there as he adjusts and points that car straight down towards this little hill towards the right-hander. 7th gear down to 6th, carrying so much speed, a split in the 33 seconds by the end of sector 1 for the Ferrari driver. What'll it be by the time he gets towards 130R, I wonder? Will it be a split in the 114s at the end of sector 2? Stay tuned, time will tell. It's Seppo Temba hurtling down towards this spoon curve. Brown Boy ahead of him, of course, will lay down the early marker, but we're on board with the Ferrari driver, of course, to see how he fares. Carrying so much speed through the 6th gear, pointing it down towards 130R. The sequence of left-handers, what kind of split would it be? 113.9. Not the quickest that we've seen today, as far as some of those Q2 splits were concerned. Brown Boy, Seppo Temba goes wide at the beginning of that final chicane. Brown Boy sits at 130.5, the quickest time by some margin today. Seppo Temba lost some time there, and his time is a 131.7. So it's P2. Malusi goes quickest. 113.1. Sensational stuff from the Mercedes driver. The quickest time by some margin on what is known, of course, across the paddock as his favorite track. There's a Williams that has just crossed the line. That was Capoza. What about Romeo? He goes P4 quicker than Capoza. Romeo's teammate D-Wax is on the verge. He crosses the line P6. Tucks right behind the Williams of Capoza. What about Zotao? He will set a time. P7, 131.6. Behind him is the one and only Haas of Enebo. Has yet to lay down his early marker. No, it's not a representative time for him. We're going to have to watch closely and see how he fares. Depiso, who made a few enemies in Q2. What can he do in Q3? He will cross the line. 132.1. It's P8 for the Ferrari driver. Well. Tindo, 130.1. Can he go even quicker, Melusi?
He will go quicker. This is actually Melo's favorite track. That's one for sure. I know that for sure. Even if Sitle was here, he was gonna have a tough time with Melo today. If he was there in front in this Q3 qualifying, because Melo, I know he is quick in Japan. Nobody has answers for him on this track.
Well, that is absolutely interesting. 130.1, a beautiful lap from Melusi. What can his teammate Mshengu do? Carrying so much speed through the X's and he spins! Oh, Mshengu was looking for the limits, and he absolutely found them at the end of the S section. The Ferrari driver now has to concede and abandon that completely and give it another go. He will hope that those tires still have something left in them. The top four are back in the pits. We're going to see whether or not they opt for a fresh set of the soft compound tires, and then we'll get a sense of what is possible for them. And Nebo did not set a representative time up until now, and he crosses the line to go P9, 132.5. That red light is flashing. He's going to have to come back with about 5 minutes 45 seconds in this qualifying session left, and Nebo is going to have to bring that Haas home to the pits and put on the final touches for the rest of this session. Mshengu is also on his way back, and Crash rightly notes, as we mentioned earlier, that Tepo Temba with that 131.7 is racing without a racing line. And he's found some extra pace, and he's definitely enjoying himself out here today. Tabang and Goody asking where Bratox is at. He's been here and hereabouts. He's been chugging down some Gemmer. And Nebo is going to make his way back to the pits. Bratox, it's always good to have you on board here. Of course, he was quite surprised to see Seekley crash out with Q1, and Neville is now the only man pretty much holding Haas's hopes on his shoulders. I believe Josh, aka Damnesia, is in and around the paddock, so do not be surprised to see him racing.
Maybe because of a push up of Melo, erase my car, Amara. I saw one corner. My Tindo. You expect to say hands on from the back?
Eh? Go sure, but I'll see one plan B if he can get a top from Musife and do what Musife is doing, and then maybe he can end up being on top there. But so far, it's going to be a very close race, eh? It's going to be a very, very close race because these guys are fast.
Yeah. Yep. Look forward to it. 4 minutes of this qualifying session to go. Thank you for choosing Brakeaway League Racing. This is our top tier. And these are our top tier drivers, one of whom is Tepo Temba. He's on the verge of beginning his final run. He makes his way now towards the final chicane. And behind him is Melusi and Brown Boy following closely behind. Now, we were on board with Tepo Temba for quite some time earlier on. So this time, on what is quite widely known as one of his favorite circuits, it's the Melusi who has laid down the gauntlet and the marker today. Let's see how much speed he carries through Sector 1. Absolutely on the limit as far as the curves are concerned. It's sixth gear through the slaloming S section. Oh! And a huge snap, and he spins! Melusi facing the wrong way. Oh, but he has enough time. 3 minutes of the session to go. Melusi can keep on sending it. Well, his spin will be fantastic news to the likes of Brown Boy and Tepo Temba, who's running further ahead. But right now, of course, he is focused on his own race. Let's see how he fares now. through his initial split. I missed that Sector 1 split, but we're on board now with the Red Bull driver. Can he challenge Malusi the Malusi? Japan is Spin City, says Tabak and Aguni. Yes, absolutely. We've seen our top drivers in the top tier struggle with the limits of this track. The bottom 3 drivers are currently on their outlaps as well. Dini reckons that Malusi the Malusi can set a time in the 1 minute 29. Indeed, would not be surprised to see that. That would be sensational. Cinque was backing himself to do exactly just that. But Malusi, Brown Boy, Teppo Temba will have a chance to do that as they split in the 113. He's gone about almost 2 tenths quicker than his previous time has Brown Boy. How much speed will he carry through this final chicane? He had to let off the throttle through the left-hander there, but he sends it now towards the start finish line. Brown Boy is the quickest man at a 130.169. It's a couple of hundredths of a second quicker than Malusi, and he takes provisional pole position. With seconds to go in this qualifying session. Teppo Temba is on his final run, and he's gone about 4 tenths quicker. It is sensational stuff, Tindo.
Shubid.
Teppo Temba, we'll see how he fares now. He's given it another go. On his first attempt, he could not quite get that move done. Meanwhile, Malusi the Malusi was also, we saw him spin out a little bit earlier. He's one of the top challengers. Purple Boy says Smirts Jaggle in the comment section. This is where Malusi came unstuck last time out. Will it be second time unlucky or second time lucky this time around? He's on the limit. Look how much speed he's carrying, Tindo. 5th gear, but he is not. He's relentless on the throttle. Is Malusi through that section unscathed? He's made it out of that slaloming S section, and now he is going to watch his line. He's gone about 5/100ths of a second quicker than his previous best time as Malusi. So he's definitely got something in the bag. What will his split be at the end of Sector 2, I wonder? Quite tight on the apex through that slow left-hander, and Malusi's going to send it down this mini hill towards the spoon curve. How much speed will he be carrying? There's a yellow flag all throughout now. I wonder what that is for. If we've had, doesn't look like we've had another DNF. But Malusi is still sending it. Thankfully, those yellow flags, most of the track have gone away now. Towards 130R we go, and Malusi's split is 113.1. He's a full tenth quicker at the end of the timings, and it looks like this may yet be the time to light up those timing sheets. Teppo Temba ahead has abandoned his attempt. Here comes Malusi for the line. It's pole position, 130.043 for the Mercedes W13. Beautiful stuff by Malusi. He will top the time sheet as things stand, unless the likes of Romeo, Mshengo, Zotel, Kapoza can have something to say about that. We're watching Romeo now. Is he sending it here? That red light is flashing. He is out of ERS. He might have run out of fuel, perhaps. What about Mshengu making his way now? Mshengu is making his way now towards the final curve. An incredible lap by Melo. Some fire emojis in the comment section. What can Mshengu do? Mamla ahead, of course, has run out of battery. He brakes quite early, does Mshengu? No, it doesn't look like he's on a competitive time. He's coming back into the pits. Is Mshengu, but what about Zotal? Oh, Zotal invalidated his final attempt. So that is bad news for him. Kaboza on the final curve towards the line. P4, 6 tenths, almost 7 tenths quicker than his previous best time. He tucks right behind the Ferrari of Teppo Temba. And that seems to be that as far as these final timings are concerned. Malusi the Malusi, pole position on one of his favorite tracks. Brown Boy, P2, Teppo Temba, P3. Kaboza will start this race in Japan from 4th position, and also on behind him is Romeo, making up the beginning of the 3rd row. P5 for Romeo. Mshengu, what a result for him. P6 for the Mercedes driver, alongside D-Wax in P7. Zotal and Enebo make up P8 and 9, and Cepiso rounds off the top 10 spot in that Ferrari. Wow.
Yeah,
dramatic stuff, but not unexpected as far as some of those top runners are concerned, Tindo.
Yeah. But I did say, Brown Boy and Melusi. I was expecting Toboza as well, but yeah, he was close. Not bad, but I was expecting Melusi. Melusi definitely was P1. If Sittler was there, yes, maybe Sittler would have done 129.8 or 5. Because that guy is driving with the EA's esports stuff. He's not with us. And but yeah, no, it's actually a good qualifying. I'm actually impressed with Mandla as well. Yeah, like he did a 130.9. It's actually a good time as well.
A very good time indeed. Look at those times: 130.042. Brown Boy and Sepotemba, Kaboza, and Mandla, the other drivers in the 130s, and everybody from Mshengu down to Anebo in the 131s. Tsepiso, the only man in Q3 with a time in the 1 minute 32s. Beautiful. We have less than 30 seconds, and then the formation lap, and we go racing in Japan. It's the top tier of Breakaway League racing. Thank you for choosing this league. We're going to have a fantastic race in prospect. I cannot wait, Tendo.
I just can't wait, Nami. I just can't. I so wish you could rain, though.
Tendo, sprinkle of drama.
Just want to see something, Jay.
Well, wouldn't that be interesting if the rain started to, give these drivers a lot to think about?
I don't know what you did because Chepis is crying. The Cheps is crying. You didn't have to do me like that, Tyson.
Tsepiso, we're just watching the timing sheets there, but I'm pretty sure Tsepiso will have something to say as far as race pace is concerned. Quite interestingly, this was the track that Tsepiso, back in his Tier 2 days, had quite a classic fight in the rain with the Tamayo. Of course, one of the quicker former Tier 2 drivers. They had an almighty clash out here in Japan, so Tsepiso is no stranger to having his fair share of fights on this track.
I'm reading Sitle's comment. He said, I'll never be recognized for my pace, but my equipment. It's hard to judge someone because, ever since he's been driving with us, he's been on Fanatec. Let's compare him with. He must go to Zotayo's place, get a G20 and then see the real pace. Then we can talk.
Now, Sicle definitely have the pace. At the end of the day, you still have to, place the car. You still have to, play with the limits as far as, the track is concerned, as far as how far you're willing to push the car. Yes, of course, the equipment does make a chance, but the driver still has to do the job. So, beautiful watching his progress. And, he's pretty much the gold standard as far as the top tier is concerned. Let's check out some comments. Race time, says Sicle.
Sicle, busy lapaya. Is what lemon cream that Pago has. Papi lemon cream net e. Kunina alidi lana go qualify. Maybe saying something interesting lana go race. Asa so wanako.
Yes,
tea.
Yes, I believe Sicle stirs his tea anti-clockwise. Apparently that's a good omen for him to win races. He's got his work cut out for him. Dini says, no spinning for Zozo, please. Cheering Zotal on. Lucy, that was an earlier comment, responding to Brown Boy's times as well. Champ on the podium as always, says Tabang Emanguni. And got to love this. Dang, says Escalo. And perhaps drivers putting some final touches. Satellite Mazanti says, Crash, who are you betting on in this race? Seclay's fighting his way from the back. I would extend that question to Crash and to the entire comment section. Who are you expecting on the podium by the end of this race? Justice says the Haas Academy is the best academy. Well, judging by this season's results, it's hard to argue with that. Haas doing what needs to be done. Haas currently 326 points in the Constructors' Championship, leading the Constructors' standings. Red Bull P2, 192 championship points for Constructors, and Ferrari P3. In the Constructors' Championship standings. Now, Formation Lap, Mfundo is here. Josh, aka Damnesia, is here. Liddy is here, fighting his way from the back of the pack as well. and a seething Van Kobe, who was hoping for, to be challenging in Q3, of course. He is finding his way from P12 as Van Kobe, and we're going to see as these drivers go about their formation lap. Oh, Kaboza seems to have disconnected. Oh, hopefully we can get Kaboza back by the end of this race. Man, he qualified P4, and disconnecting, that'll be heartbreaking. He will lose all of that hard work. Madla, well, he will not mind seeing a disconnected Williams in front of him. He's going to take full advantage, Will Mandla. Any opportunity, he will need no invitation, Will Mandla. Let's take a look at the tire strategy. Tindo, Malusi, Tepeltemba, Zotal, and Nebo, Sikle, and Liddy are the drivers beginning this race on that hard tire compound. Thoughts on that strategy, Tindo?
Yeah, they're aiming to go longer. Like, I think the hards actually performs better here than the mediums. And you can actually go to maybe lap 18 or 20 actually on hards. Because I think I did that yesterday. I pushed them from lap 2 to lap 24. So you can actually go way longer. But in the end, when you reach up lap 20 there, you start losing a lot of time. But they can also like do one strategy, hard and soft, and then they're done.
Yeah, that will be one to pay close attention to. The performance of those hard tire runners. Bongani and Gwenya, Sikle is hungry now. Let's check out how you can climb. This should be interesting to watch. Crash says Malusi is winning this race. Malusi, Brown Boy, Tepeltemba as the top three. And Brown Boy, Malusi, and Kapoza as the top three, says Kid K. Good turnout for tier 1, says Nkasana. Absolutely. Brown Boy for the win, says Stanley Mazansi. Josh and Van Kobe starts. Keep a close eye on them, says Crash. Man Ray says Kapoza will get disqualified if we see his ghost in the formation lap. Sadly, of course, that is usually the issue. If you have network issues during this formation lap, it compromises your prospects. Here comes Mfundo towards the back of the pack, and Liddy T, and Josh, aka Damn Ninja, actually an Alfa Romeo driver, but today has commandeered the Red Bull belonging to Moon's codename Guzu. He places his car in the correct spot without incident, and Liddy does not quite do so. Mfundo positioning his car absolutely perfectly as the countdown now begins towards the race start. It is almost time for us to get a sense of how these drivers will fare. Look out, of course, for those scorching race starts. Malusi P1, definitely Sikle P2, says Tabang Emanguni. Sikle finding his way from P13. Oh, looks like a really delayed race start out here.
Maybe they're praying for Kaboza to come.
Waiting patiently. Oh, migrating host. Someone seems to have disconnected.
Buddha.
5 lights. That's Buddha disconnected. And it's lights out. Out here, the only time South Africa can afford to the lights going out. Tempa has pipped them to P1. He wasted no time. He surpassed them. Malusi's race start finds him fighting with Kaboza for that P2 spot. Kaboza's ghost, meanwhile, is down to P4 as Brown Boy holds his nerve to hang on to that P3 spot. Tempa, what an insane race start for him.
Zotal is down there in P15.
Zotal must have had it. Oh, he's disconnected as Zotal. Or is it a case of...
load shedding.
Perhaps it's load shedding, but it looks like he lost a wing. So he might just have been ghosted, Zotal, because he recently crashed. Yes, he hasn't disconnected. He crashed. He lost his wing.
He crashed, yeah.
Retired, and Tempa retired. What the hell happened at the front? Oh, my word. Check Josh. Brown Boy also retiring. What the heck is going on? Is everybody retiring? Is it a race restart?
Maybe, I think it's a glitch. I think it should be a glitch. There should be a glitch.
Because Malusi and Mshengu, if we see a couple more retirements out here, then you could be sure that it's definitely a definite restart. But it looks like Romeo and Mshengu are having a hell of a fight out here. It doesn't look to be and Nebo corner cutting. What the hell's going on here? Yeah, looks like Buddha losing his, or rather getting disconnected, might be throwing the session into like a heavy glitch as things stand. And Nebo, the 4th driver to retire, Yeah, it looks like we might just be.
Like
we're gonna restart this session. Wow, that was a dramatic restart, September. My word, that restart was sensational. And now we're just gonna watch some dramatic crashing. Looks like Josh going into the Mercedes of M. Shengu here, trying to get him to retire by virtue of crashing him out. So we're just going to see some retirements here, and we're going to get a custom grid per the qualifying session, and thereafter we will have...
Mshengu wants to lead. He wants to be behind the safety car.
umshanga ngithi ufuna ukufila ukuthi kunjani ukuba uP1 yabo. Kumnandi ufuna le feeling.
Ufuna ushaya umoya, ukathelene ngepetrol, umoya upetrol. Yes.
I do believe we'll be switching over quickly to another lobby. But Tindo, as we do so, as we make the preparations for the next lobby and the next set of proceedings, can we look at the likes of Van Colby and Josh to challenge, the top 10?
I think if they can challenge top 10, if they can do the same way if they can do the same way they started this frozen lobby, I think we can actually see them in top 5. We can actually see them in top 5.
Yeah, wouldn't that be something absolutely interesting? Tindo, did you get the invites? Gonna make sure that you ultimately correct the new lobby.
No, no, I haven't got it as yet.
All right, I'll send you. Make sure that you're well and truly in.
Yeah, I'm joining now.
Crash mentioned earlier that the hard tires are risky to start this race with. Sector 1 will say hello.
But Crash has not right. The sector 1 is okay. Yabona uvele idonsa kana makhebi idonsa ngendlela. But
I don't think with the guys who started on hard, they didn't have any issues though.
Not too many issues. You're right about that. But I suppose if you're too eager,
if you're too eager, definitely you're gonna do that. I think for the first lap, it's just that to get the tires warm enough, and then you can get the pace. Because once the hards are on, trust me, nobody will want to smell them. Those guys will be flying.
Yeah, once they come into the optimum working window, that will be, of course, a lot for the medium runners to deal with. And then eventually, it's going to have to be when the pit window opens for the medium runners, then it's a case of the hard tire runners to make sure that they eke out as much of an advantage as possible. So this race restart might give some people a chance to rethink their tire strategies. Perhaps they will do so, but of course, it's all at their own discretion. Tindo, would you go for a hard tire start?
Yeah, no, it's still. I think the guys who started on hards, they're still stuck on hards. I'm sure you're gonna see a few changes of people changing their tire strategy, because they see it. Oh, okay, no, maybe they can do better. They can go longer as well. But for me, the hards is a good way to start. It's actually a good strategy to start with them, because the time these other guys, the mediums, they're gonna starting to fade away. The hards will be like in the medium. They'll be like firing up, and when you pit again, you're gonna be slow because you're gonna need to get the momentum as well. And for you to catch up with them, they're gonna be flying by the time the medium gangs pits.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of permutations depending on whether or not you can keep it together as a hard tire starter. In the lower tiers, Tindo, we saw a couple of alternate strategies. People going either hard to soft or starting on the soft. I think we saw in the lower tiers. Tier 2, I think we saw drivers starting on, I think it was Stanley Mizanti who went soft to hard.
Yeah.
And in its... Yeah,
I know. Continue.
Is it too risky to go for such an alternate strategy in a tier like this? Is it just, you're going to lose too much of an advantage?
It's just risky. Maybe you can do that if you're starting from the back. When you have nothing to lose.
Yeah.
And, you just want to catch up with the pace, because at least if you can start on soft and then you can maybe pull up some moves, and then maybe climb up the ladder, maybe in pit. And then when you pit up for your hards, you're not gonna stop now. You're just going until the end, unless if there's a safety car. But if you start on softs and then you go maybe to lap 7 or 8, and then you're guaranteed. You definitely, there's a chance of you gonna be on top there, because you just need to maintain one pace all the whole race actually.
Yeah. Definitely risky to go for such a strategy in this tier.
Looks like there's a new lobby. I think Zota is
Another lobby.
Oh,
okay. Yeah, I was wondering why so many people.
They're 11, but it's the same thing though. I don't know what's going on here.
Is it sending you to the same lobby when you?
Yeah, it's sending me to the same lobby. Yeah.
Okay, so we stay here in this lobby.
Let's just stay. Yeah, let's just stay. Yeah.
Right, let's go to some of the comments, and Sanley Mazanti interestingly says there's a chance that it might rain on this new lobby.
You must not make them away, because if you make them away, then they're gonna change it to make it to dry. You must just leave them, and then let's see. This is a top tier, like they are the best in Mzansi in South Africa right now. So let them see storm, thunder, everything. They must face it.
Yeah. Let them face the weather. Yeah, Sanlam Sense is saying because it's a new lobby, if let's say the previous lobby was a guaranteed dry race, it might be that this race has a little bit of rain and drama sprinkled into it. Listen, I would definitely welcome that if it throws a cat amongst the pigeons. And of course, it gives some of the drivers who qualify towards the back a punter's chance, a fighting chance to make their presence felt here in this race here in Japan. Well, the drivers are just taking their spots. Tsupiso's here. Is Josh again? Damnesia here representing Alfa Romeo. The hard compound start is a bad idea for Suzuka, says Loudmouth SA. Well, once those tires get into a working window, it's something that we were discussing a little bit earlier. It's something that could pay off in the long run. You're playing a longer game. The weather is actually set to dry. Oh, it's not dynamic here. Interesting. Maybe because the previous race was dry, so they're going with that. But well, would have been nice for the weather to still have been dynamic. Sanley says, I agree with Tindo. It would have been nice to have a little bit of drama as far as the weather is concerned. Meanwhile, there's the comment section turning into a billboard for the photographic skills of Christopher's crash, Seikal Mkhize, who, apart from his talents, both on track and off track, seemingly, he is, a quite handy photographer, says Crash in the comment section. Well, perhaps.
Sure. Nangoma 2007. Yeah,
Yes, Iyazama, indeed. Justice, another person who wants the storms, who wants the drama of a wet weather race. That would be quite interesting, indeed. And Fundo is here. He's taken his rightful Alpine. And Josh, aka Damnesia, is also in his rightful colors of the Alfa Romeo. What are their seasons looking like? Well, let's take a closer look at Mfundo in particular. He is in P15 currently, is in the playoff spots as the Alpine driver, so he's got his work cut out for him, does Mfundo. P15, not where he wants to find himself. Meanwhile, Josh, aka Damnesia, has managed to rack up a couple of decent points in the races that he has participated in. 60 championship points. P7 in the driver's standings is the Alfa Romeo driver. So it's been an interesting season for him, considering all of the races that he was not able to score points. I think the one result that is definitely playing into Josh's hands is the podium, the 2 podiums that he scored. Remember, Josh is the only person to win a race apart from Seakley. He's the only man to prevent Seakley from winning a race. Josh, Damnesia, won the first race of this season back in Belgium. And then he had a podium finish at the race in Monaco. So those 2 results are carrying Josh's prospects of staying in this championship. Josh currently P7, 60 championship points. Meanwhile, his teammate Loveness is also capitalizing on that recent podium finish. And Loveness currently behind Josh on the point stakes, 53 championship points. So, yeah.
Sorry, Tyson. I'm sorry to cut you. Can do Tatas, he wants to come and be a Django in tier 2 in.
He's P16.
He's P16. This guy, he just wants to come into tier 2 and then say, hey, let me go dominate with these boys, and then he goes back up. Eh?
Oh, yeah, that is an interesting question. Titus really at risk of dropping down. We know what kind of pace he has, of course. Even in Tier 1, the races that he has taken part in, I think it was Baku, one of his first races this season. And he was looking really solid. So he just needs to put a string of appearances and performances together, and he could just find himself in a place of safety as far as those relegation spots are concerned. Tindo, take us through the stress of having to go through the playoffs and how that affects your mindset.
Hey, it's not a good thing, I would say. That's why you see Mandla is fighting like this. It's not a good feeling because now, you have to fight all these, we only have only 6 drivers. Because every point it's crucial. If you lose 1 point, that 1 point might make a difference in the end. So that's why you find a good team. When you go for playoffs, I wouldn't recommend it for anyone, because anything can happen. It might not be your fault, or you might make a mistake, and then you crash one race, you're out. There's no coming back from that.
Yep. High stakes, absolutely. 7 more races after this. 1, 2, 3. 7 as far as sticking to the calendar is concerned. And then, of course, we did miss 4 other races. So 11 races for these drivers in this top tier to reclaim their spots. And rather just to make sure that they survive in this top tier. Let's see who might have changed their minds as far as tire strategy is concerned. Malusi the Malusi has still stuck to his guns. Hard tires. Brown Boy behind him on mediums. Seppo Temba also in the hards. Kaboza, all the way from Kaboza in P4 down to D-Wax in P7, medium tire compounds. Zotal and Ilevo have opted for the hards. Tapiso and Esbuda, mediums behind them. Seakley, hard tire start. Josh, aka Damnesia, mediums. And Liddy on those hards again. Mfundo at the back of the pack, medium tire compound starts for him. So that is quite interesting to consider. Brown Boy and Kaboza, look out for them. It looks like, sadly, Ban Kobe is the driver who could not make it back onto this grid. So it's really been a terrible day for Ban Kobe, who recently celebrated his birthday. But out here in Japan, it's just been, a pretty bad day for him. Had that incident crashing out of Q2, and right now seemingly not able to take part in this race. 27 laps we will have. Crash says, even though Bankobi's not here, watch out for Josh's start. Josh, Damnesia, has opted to begin his race on a set of medium compound tires. And he will have Seakley to contend with at the start of this race. So we will definitely be keeping a close eye on them.
I don't know if I didn't see you properly. I thought Seakley on the first lap on the last race. On the last reach, he was on P5 already on those aces already, if I'm not mistaken. So it's gonna be interesting. I think Melo learned his lesson that he mustn't sleep. He has all the machines, he has all the tools with that W13. So And Toto was not happy on the first stint.
Yeah, Toto Wolff smashed his headphones at that race start on the table, did Toto. And Seppo Temba, can he lay that car down at the right spot? Yes. P3 for the Ferrari driver, P4 for Caboza. And, well, now it is the time for the race start. It is 3 lights, 4 lights, 5 lights. The only time South Africa's afforded to the lights going out. And here we go in Japan. Bromboy start. Look at him versus Malusi. Has the inside line, and he is ahead as Bromboy. Caboza came unstuck, and he's fallen down a peg or two. Malusi is fighting to stay within the top 5. His teammate is currently the one holding off the rest of the pack. Lucy led at the start, but right now he's fallen down 3 places. He has the fight of his life on his hands, and right now it is Bromboy from Seppo Temba from Caboza who managed to keep it together, even though it looked for a second like he was going wide coming towards that first turn. Lucy's P4 from Msengu and P5, who's now holding off Mandla, aka Romeo. Josh, aka Damnesia, look at that race start. Crash called it. He climbed up 4 places, did Josh. He's right behind Seaflay, who is tucked right behind the other half of his teammate. Josh, aka Damnesia, half a second behind P9 for the Alfa Romeo driver. Sensational start, Zotao. Nightmare start for him. He's lost 2 places, but thankfully, I think his wing is still intact. Unlike the glitched race that we saw, so he will be glad that he is still running here without too much damage. And Kawako D-Wax, nightmare start, dropping down 4 places to Piso, losing 2, P12 for him, and Fundo gaining 2 at the back of the pack. And Esabuda might have had an incident as far as contact or spins are concerned. He's down to P12, Liddy making up the back of the pack in that P15 spot. Caboza is fighting for Seppo Temba for that P2 spot. The Malusi is right behind him, but those hard compound tires have yet to start singing. The Malusi is dropping back as Brownboy sets the quickest 135.7 at the end of this first lap. It is Caboza chasing Seppo Temba for that P2 spot. Brownboy, sensational start by him, 1.1 second ahead by the end of lap 1. Beautiful stuff, Tindo.
Yeah, beautiful stuff from him. I think the guys on the mediums, they had a good start. The TF, their tires are better. And UTT as well, you can see is also keeping up with Brown Boy is on hards actually, and Umelus. So watch out for those guys, because the mediums just now in few laps time it should be maybe lap 7, 8. That's when you start seeing the effect of the hards will be just starting to fly. But for now, I think it's a good start from them as well. And also CK as well, he gained so much positions
Yep, Seaflay running in P8 currently is tucked right behind his teammate, and it'll be interesting to see the level of comfort and the level of relative risk that Malusi takes as far as his line and the amount of speed that he carries into corners is concerned, and watch how he trims the gap, or he tries to trim the gap between himself and Caboza. Meanwhile, it looks like Romeo has had a huge spin. He might have spun. Did he spin? Well, yeah, he was trying to overtake one of the Hasses, but now finds himself in P12. Has he taken some damage, Romeo? Looks like that wing is intact, and he is now giving Mfundo a hell of a headache. Brown Boy crosses the line with the quickest time, pipped by Seppo Temba on those hard tires. Yes, Tindo.
Hey, I was watching Romeo and Fundo here. Hey, he risked it, man. You are just sending it.
It is Romeo and Fundo and Esbuda in a DRS train, as the stewards have just enabled that DRS. Let's see how Mfundo takes it. He squirmed a little bit coming into turn 1, and Romeo will look to build some sort of advantage. Romeo spins, and Romeo sends it straight into the wall. Romeo, that tricky turn, that tricky sector 1 catches him off guard, and he is down to P14 under pressure from Mfundo, who says thank you very much, and now is hunting down to Piso. But as he does so, Esbuda is right on his tail. Almost going into the...
What happened to Shingo T?
He might have had an Mfundo loses it there. They go past the half of Enlebo, seemingly. I don't know if that's a network issue or if Enlebo had a spin of his own, but Mfundo versus Esbuda. Watch this battle. Who gets the better exit? They touch a little bit. The front wing of the Williams touching the back of the Alpine, but Mfundo manages to keep on running. And what did I say about Sector 1? Says Crash. It is catching them off guard at lap 3 of 27. They've just activated DRS, have these stewards, and the drivers are absolutely struggling for a semblance of grip here. Esbuda hoped to overtake Mfundo, but did not quite get that move done. He's using up so much of his battery power. Is Esbuda, look, he's down to 38%. What about Mfundo? He's also down to the 30%, and now towards the final chicane they go.
Melusi, he's just...
Melusi versus Kaboza, and towards turn 1, and he gets that move done. Kaboza has to slam those brakes so hard, and he spins, does Kaboza! Oh, that first sector catching them all out. Sikle will need no second invitation. He will breeze past the Williams driver. Oh my gosh, both the Williams drivers involved in dramatic incidences up and down the track. Brown Boy and Tempo Temba. Brown Boy, did he spin? He might have spun.
He might have spun, yeah.
He might have spun because he's dropped 2 places. Melusi the Melusi is now chasing Tempo Temba. Sikle, who started this race in dramatic fashion, having crashed out of Q1.
Oh, Brown Boy, DNF.
Brown Boy DNFs! Oh my gosh, Brown Boy was on the verge. He was fighting for a race win, but he becomes the first man to crash out in Japan, bringing out the safety car.
Safety car is out. Oh, Lord.
Oh my god, the safety car in lap 4 of 27. Tindo, we do not know where to look. It is drama all over this grid.
Zota moved, is now in P6. Wow, he was making moves then when we were watching the other guys.
Man, look at that. Sikle gaining 9 positions. Josh, aka Damnesia, has gained 8 places, starting at the back of the pack. And this safety car, Tindo, is going to be such great news to Mandla. To pretty much all these drivers who are fighting for an advantage. And let's see if Mandla, rather. Oh, Brown Boy will be seething, kicking himself. And Mandla has already stopped. He's fitted a set of hard compound tires. It's lap 4 of 27. Mandla's the only man to have stopped thus far. And now under the safety car, nobody is stopping. Everyone is opting to stay out. And Nebo in the other Haas is pretty much staying put. And look at that. Sikle is now up to the podium places. Sensational stuff.
On lap 4. On lap 4.
Within 4 laps, the champion, who started I think 13 it was, is now up to P3. And a man who was hoping for a podium place can now smell a potential victory on the cards.
Because now on the first stretch, when the safety car comes in, it's going to be very interesting, the first corner. It's going to be very, very... It's going to be something nice to see. And you see what I was saying? Now the guys on hards as well, they've got the momentum now, you can see. And they're actually quicker now.
Absolutely incredible stuff. Seppo Temba leads in Japan in lap 5 of 27. And Melusi the Melusi.
Mandla spun as well.
At the back of the pack, Mandla.
At the back of the pack.
Having a moment there. Melusi P2 from Sikle, from Kaboza on those medium tires. Josh, aka Damnesia, also on those mediums. Zotal still running, no incidents, thankfully for Zotal. Mandla sent it into the wall. What's going on with Mandla? He's got nobody ahead of him, but he's struggling. Perhaps his tire pressures.
Yeah,
maybe tire pressures.
Because now he can't cool the tires down. It's too high.
Oh, he's gonna have to come back into the pits. Yeah. For another.
It's messing up his strategy now. But at least it's still a safety car, so I'm sure he can catch up with the guys.
Yeah, he's gonna have to.
It's gonna be. Yeah, he can catch up. He can catch up. He mustn't spin. That's all. You just need to keep his car on track. Make sure he gets to the pit. Change the tires for mediums again, and then just go. You know, I hope he doesn't put softs or wets.
Wouldn't that be something? He's definitely got to keep it together here, does Mandla. P14 at the back of this pack. Shengu deciding to pit, seeing that the safety car did not come in at that point. Mandla's going to have a wing change here. As Mandla, what's He missed the pit lane.
He missed the pit.
Kanti Mandla kwenzakalani? Waretire uMandla. Uvele wathi hayi mina vele ngiyangala.
Mandla just retired his car. He missed the pit lane and he's just opted to retire his car.
But what are the rules? He's not supposed to retire on track, though.
Oh my gosh. Perhaps out of frustration there, Mandla, the second driver to retire from this race. Shangu is now the person who's going to be fighting his way from the back of the pack. He's out on track with a fresh set of hard compound tires. And Tindo, as we look forward towards the race restart, sure, the hard tire runners, they'll get those tires singing eventually, but under safety car, those tires are going to cool down again.
And then, yeah. But now I don't see anyone who can challenge, except for Josh, who can challenge those guys in front. Koboza, yes, he can ABC, but I feel like he's not quick enough like Usiete to be, as much as Usiete is on hards or Melos is on hards as well. He's not quick enough. The only person I will see with a threat there is only Josh. If anyone else, yeah, maybe, but I don't see anyone challenging the top three who are on mediums, except for Josh.
That would make things very, very interesting. We know how aggressive Josh can be as well, as far as overtaking and just putting that nose in the corner and hoping that the other driver will blink first. Mandla, bizarrely, was struggling for grip. He missed the pit entry to Mandla and eventually was just like,
it's a feeling retire once.
Mandla retiring there.
He's our Latifi in Japan.
Here's the word from the paddock, from Ted Kravitz in the paddock. Apparently Mandla says rear wing damage. He took some damage when he had that spin and had to retire. The car was undrivable and unfixable. I wanted to retire in the pits, says Mandla. As we now look forward to this race getting back underway, it'll be another lap under safety car, lap 7, hopefully the final lap under the safety car. And who will pit now as the safety car goes around once again? In the comments, someone was saying that Liddy should rather go into the pits now. He has not done so. He's still out on those hard tires as Liddy. So let's see how that pans out. So, remember, only the top... Yes, Tindo.
Why would you want to Liddy to go on the pit? Does he have a damaged wing or what?
Nope, perhaps just so he could get that pit stop out of the way, but no need for Liddy. He's still on those hard tires.
Early. It's too early, there's still 20 laps to go, so it's too early, If it was maybe lap 13 years or 10 or 12, you can always risk it, but not now.
Yeah, Romeo Mandla recounting the incident that saw him spinning out in that battle with Shangu. Was trying to avoid Shangu after his spinning, and that's how Mandla then lost his own car. Crash says, if I was on mediums, I would have picked for hards now, which does make sense. As to the likes of Kaboza and Josh, aka Damnesia. Of course, they'd lose a little bit of ground, but knowing that the hard tire runners still are going to have to come into the pit. It definitely, especially if we don't get any safety cars between now and the end of the race, Tindo.
Yeah, I still feel like there's going to be a safety car as well. There's going to be another one. So, the likes of, I don't want to mention names, I don't want to sound rude. And I feel like there's going to be more safety cars.
Tindo, uku-predict ukuthi bobani abasazocrash. Engathi khona babhekile khona babheke ngamasayidi wami.
Khona sibaziyo nje ukuthi bahlezi nje umthetho lona.
Well, they will be hoping to prove you wrong, Tindo. It's treacherous out there in Japan. That Sector 1, the safety car is in this lap. Crash has kept on telling us in the comment section, look out for that so treacherous Sector 1. And thus far, in qualifying in the race, that has proven to be true. It is Teppo Temba versus Malusi versus Cikle versus Kapoza and Josh, a.k.a. Damnesia, in your top 5. Who will get the advantage on that hurdle down towards turn 1? Can Teppo Temba catch them napping coming out of this final chicane? The answer, perhaps, is yes. Malusi is also putting pedal to the metal as they run screaming down towards turn 1. His advantage is just 6/10. Malusi, of course, will take liberties down towards that turn 1. How much of an advantage will Temba have as they make their way towards that slaloming S section? Let's hop on board with Kaposa. Medium compound tires chasing Seekley. Ooh, has to ease up as he almost sends that wing of the Williams into the back of that half. It is Kaposa versus Seekley through the S section here. Everybody managing to maintain position. No incidents thus far. The hard tires still need to get up to optimum temperature as well. Yes. Josh! Oh, he was too aggressive there, Josh. Way too aggressive into the rear wing of... Oh, but right now he cuts off. It's Buddha who will be screaming for Josh to watch his line there. And Josh, who was fighting with Kaposa, did not get it done. And that promotes the likes of Zotal all the way up to P5 in that Alpine. And Fundo and Buddha will resume their battle, and it looks like behind them, Luddy has fallen back by a factor of about 2.7 seconds, and Nebo and Mshengu might have had almighty spins because they were way behind.
What they're doing, but they were in the pit when the safety car came in, so I don't know what's going on with the British man there. I think he's still mourning the Queen, you know. Maybe it's at the palace there sitting on Queen's bed, you know.
Yes, here comes Espuda versus Mfundo, who has a little bit of a snap and manages to keep it together. Look at Mfundo, he taps on his steering wheel. You can really tell his steering inputs are a bit of a staccato type of movement. Espuda will look to send this Williams as they go towards turn 1. Further ahead, it is Josh, aka Damnesia, versus Tapiso. Alfa Romeo versus Ferrari. Who will have advantage in that battle? Josh, of course, relentless when he is absolutely chasing you. He went for that move. He did not have any right to be sending it on the inside of Kaposa there. And he came unstuck to Josh. Yeah.
And he came unstuck for him to do that.
On this particular section, and he has a little bit of a twitch there, does Josh, and loses so much ground there. Tapiso is now out of DRS. Remember, we have a couple of laps to go before the stewards re-enable that DRS once again. So Josh versus Tapiso is a battle to pay close attention to. Oh, it's Buddha! Almost goes into the back of the Alpine there. You have the inside line to the Williams driver, but did not have enough in the bank to overtake Mfundo, who hangs on for dear life to that P9 spot. This is a battle that is going to be sensational to watch from here on out. It seems that as far as grip and speed is concerned, Esbuda might just be the quicker man. Perhaps he has a greater downforce than Esbuda, because he definitely has the advantage in the cornering, as far as cornering is concerned. Malusi is the quickest man on track, 133.9 thus far. We'll see whether or not that'll be bested as this race goes along, or if Malusi will be the gold standard as far as keeping that fastest lap is concerned. As Buddha loses a little bit of ground coming out of that final chicane, and hurtles now towards the back of that Alpine. Can he get this move done? And Fundo is not quite keeping it together. He really is twitching. You can see that car just kind of twitching to the left moment by moment as Mfundo makes those steering inputs ahead of the Alpine and loses quite a bit of ground now. The gap. Oh, Mfundo spins! Mfundo is facing the wrong way. As Buddha will say thank you very much. And Mfundo will now have to fight his way back. He'll be overtaken by Luddy. And Luddy is now up to the points. Meanwhile, Josh versus Tapiso, Zotal seems to have had a spin of his own. He's lost his wing, has Zotal. Now running P8. He was P5. Oh, Zotal. Hard compound tires, soon to be 10 laps old. And now Josh is fighting with Tapiso. He's on the inside of Josh. They make contact once again. Will Tapiso have the moment? No. Josh keeps it together. Tapiso relents. Oh my word. Sector 1 once again claiming its fair share of victims as crash notes. Here comes Tapiso into 130R. Will he get revenge here in the Ferrari driver? Oh, he thinks about going on the inside line of that chicane, but not quite getting it done. Oh, it's battled all over the place here, Tindo. And as I say that, Malusi is right on the brink of challenging for the race lead. Cikle is about 1.6 seconds behind this leading pair, and right now Malusi's going to need to keep it together as Tempo Temba is the person that is keeping him from taking control of this race. As far as the lead is concerned, Zotal comes into the pit for a wing change as well as a set of medium compound tires, which he will take towards the end of this race. Malusi gets a cleaner exit to Tempo Temba, and a bit of a twitch there. His red light is flashing. Malusi will smell blood. Will he take the inside line on the spoon curve? Yes, but he's not quite close enough to get the move done. Behind them, of course, is the hat of Cikle. Let's see if Malusi can get this move done before lap 12. Over here, there's a yellow flag. Somewhere out on track in sector
Zotal.
1 once again. Zotal, did he spin there, Tindo?
I think no, sorry, it's not Zotal, it's Mfundo. Mfundo spun.
Mfundo spun, he's down to P10. We saw Mfundo spin out in the battle versus Esbuda. Here comes Malusi into 130R, carrying significantly more speed. He thinks about going on the inside, but he's going to relent and let Tempo Temba take this chicane. And as these two are fighting it out, Cikle is now within DRS, so it's a three-way fight, a three-way DRS train here into turn 1. Can Malusi get this move done into turn 1? He's wheel to wheel, and he's ahead. Malusi, P1. He takes the lead, and he consigns Tempo Temba to have the headache of Cikle in the Haas to deal with now. These three drivers, absolutely beautiful racing, sensational stuff. Malusi getting that move done cleanly, and can Tempo Temba hold Cikle off here in this battle for the race win? Malusi looks to be the more comfortable man out on track. He builds that gap. It's hovering at the 7/10 mark thus far, and this is the view from Cikle's perspective. Tempo Temba's red light is flashing. Cikle has been using his battery sparingly, about 70% worth of battery power left for the Haas driver. The top 9 have yet to pit. Even Liddy is, of course, counted among them. Everybody from Enlebo onwards has come into the pits. Cikle is stalking these top 2, and he's going to pick up the pieces if any of them make mistakes, says Venuccio, aka Pete. Tempo Temba's red light still flashing. Cikle using a little bit of that battery power to make sure he stays tucked within the DRS as they come through 130R. Cikle is going to think about it into the chicane, but no, he just stays tucked right behind that.
Piso just said it's spin there as well. By the end of sector 1.
The end of sector 1, those S sections. Malusi breaks the toe as he goes towards the right. He tucks back into the racing line. Tempo Temba is within 3/10 of him. What a beautiful camera shot we have here as you see the rear end of Malusi have a bit of a moment there, but no such issues as far as losing the race lead is concerned. Cikle stalking them like the shark, like the predator that he is in that Haas. Just 3/10 separating the Haas from the Ferrari now. Will he think about it, Cikle, towards sectors 2 and 3, or is he just content to just stay here and let these two use up as much of their batteries as they can? Tindo.
I think he can do that. If that's the strategy he's using, I don't think it will work because Umelo is maintaining the pace. Umelo is not losing out anything because Melo is actually opening the gap. He's dropping, and when he opens it, he's dropping, and he's saving so much battery for him. So if he's using that strategy, I don't think it will work. He has to make the move now on Tempo Temba for at least for a win, because at the moment they are still in the DRS zone. They're gonna start fighting just now, and Melu is gonna open the gap when they are fighting to overtake each other. So Usife, he has to do the move now.
Now or never, says Tindo out here in the commentary box. Will Cikle think about it? Not yet, not necessarily. Meanwhile, further back in the field, someone who's also on a bit of a redemption drive from here on out is Zotal. He's currently fighting with Enlebo. A couple of seconds ago, he was down to within 3/10, but not anymore. So he's going to have to fight it out with the Haas driver to make sure that he tucks right back into the DRS. Let's go back to the leading pack. Kaboza has finally come into the pits for hard compound tires. He was on the mediums, I think, was Kaboza. So that is his first, and final stop, it can be assumed. Meanwhile, Tapiso is 24 seconds behind the top 3 pack. P4 for the Ferrari driver as things stand. It is Cicle hunting down Sepultemba by a factor of less than half a second. And he's been biding his time, content to allow the top 2 to use up as much of their battery as possible. As Buddha, further down the pit, has come into the pit, as has the likes of Damnesia, as the Nucho points out. If a safety car comes out, says Nucho, as for Tindo, he's in for a potential win alongside Capoza. That being Josh, aka Damnesia. Well, that would make things interesting, wouldn't it, Nucho? Absolutely interesting indeed. If that is the case, Cicle is still content to allow Sepultemba, but he thought about it. He thought about going on the inside there on that chicane. Sepultemba taking so many liberties and still not coming into the pits as yet. I don't know if Sepultemba was bluffing there, but Cicle has had enough of playing mind games. He tucks onto the inside, he's side by side, and he will have the inside line coming into turn 1. Cicle is ahead, and he's now tucked right behind Malusi the Malusi. Half a second behind the W13, and Sepultemba, who's used up so much of his battery just to stay in contention, is in trouble of falling out of DRS here, Tindo.
Yeah, he's in trouble. I think the top 3, whoever has a good strategy is the one who's going to win here. Because at the moment, right now, they can all pit and come out in front of number 4, Uteps. So they have the advantage amongst themselves. So they need, whoever has a good strategy between the 3 of them is the one who's going to win.
It's going to be a question of wits, a battle of wits, a battle of the strategies in the Mercedes, the Haas, and the Ferrari pit wall. So we're going to see whether or not that indeed proves true. Cicle seems to be thinking about it, or at least he's taking a tighter line through the spoon curve there, and he's keeping it together, giving Malusi the Malusi a lot to think about. Yes, not sure how he's going to do that.
Who just found Mfundo, I guess.
And Fundo had a moment. Oh, Malusi! It seems he caught Cicle out. He bluffed him, but he caught him out. He tucks right into the pit, and his outlap is going to be crucial on those colder tires. And let's see whether or not the likes of Cicle can get that advantage. Meanwhile, Ngawako, aka D-Wax, is fighting to stay within the DRS of Josh, aka Damnesia. At some point, he was within 3/10 or so of Josh, but right now, Damnesia is holding his own. Cicle, let's hop back on board with the leader. He knows how crucial these couple of laps are going to be. If this is indeed to be his in-lap, Cicle is going to need to use as much of his battery as possible to make sure that the overcut works and that he comes out ahead of Malusi the Malusi whenever he comes out of the pit lane. Oh, it looks like D-Wax and Damnesia are having a titanic tussle. Let's hop on board with them. Oh, D-Wax almost getting that move done over here. We'll catch up with the race leaders after we see how this battle pans out. Both of these drivers on a fairly fresh set of hard compound tires. It doesn't look like Josh is being so comfortable there. He has a little bit of a twitch coming out of the slaloming F section there. And D-Wax was looking to take an advantage there, but not quite getting that move done. And he's now going to have to live to fight another day. Behind them, by a factor of 3 seconds or so, is Zotal. Now, is Malusi the Malusi going to get an advantage versus Cicle, who's just coming to the point? And Mfundo has crashed out! It's a DNF for Mfundo! Safety car is out! The safety car is out! Malusi the Malusi was going to have to slow down! But will he be able to come ahead? Will Malusi the Malusi come out ahead?
No, he won't.
No, he won't! The undercut, the overcut has worked! And Malusi the Malusi is just ahead of Sepultemba! Oh my word, the drama! Cicle thanks his lucky stars that the safety car comes out. You
can see the way he's driving, he's celebrating.
Oh my word! Malusi the Malusi is now P2. Oh my goodness. These two are going to be fighting it out. It's going to be 10 laps.
I told you that there was going to be a safety car.
Their prediction was spot on. And Tsepiso, interestingly, opts for a set of soft compound tires. DUX stays out. Josh, aka Damnesia, goes for the soft tires, as does Zotile in the Alpine. He now holds the hopes for Team Alpine. Does Zotile coming out the pits now, ahead of Josh, aka Damnesia, and Enlebo. Liddy, interestingly, has opted for mediums.
I think the guys who are going on soft, they just are trying to, like, they're gonna be fast for the first like 4 laps, and the soft, I don't know, they fade very quickly. They go away like in just a snap. So they're doing, it's a risky one, but I don't think they'll do them good, because they'll end up losing time from the guys who are also on hards and on mediums as well. Because after 5 laps, you will see they'll start losing a lot of time.
Yeah, so towards the end of this race, they will definitely have a lot to think about, and those tires will be screaming, as Tindo rightfully notes. But the furthest of the soft tire runners is Tsepiso. Interestingly, Kapoza opted to stay out for the sake of keeping track position. He's going to be under immense pressure, will Kapoza be, because right behind him will be the menacing scarlet red Ferrari of Tsepiso. So he'll be within touching distance of his teammate, who's now running P3, and this safety car has given September all the chance, or all the opportunity, to recoup that battery power. He's now recharged that battery. It's now 100%. We saw how much he had used, how much of his battery power he had sacrificed just to try and stay in that top 3. D-Wax and Gowacko relents and finally comes in for soft compound tires, and that drops him down to the brink of the point.
This guy, I don't know, I don't know why they're pitching, like for soft. I think it's the pressure, like, oh, there's 9 laps to go, we're just going to be flying. They won't, you will see. But yeah, there might be, but now the safety car is still going to go again, and there's going to be it's already 1 lap old. But let's see what's going to happen. Maybe they know how to manage their tires, their Hamiltons,
So perhaps we'll get 7 or so laps, or maybe 8 of proper racing. Shengu currently out of the points. I believe he has been lapped as well by the front runners. Definitely got his work cut out for him. C-Clay leads this race in lap 18 of 27. If you've just joined us, it's been a dramatic race. We've lost 3 drivers to DNFs. Brown Boy, Romeo, and Mfundo. Malusi the Malusi follows C-Clay. He pitted before, but the safety car, of course, slowed him down as he looked to hang on to that P1 spot. The safety car came out while C-Clay and Sepultemba were in the pits. P3 for the Ferrari driver, Sepultemba. Kapoza, P4. 4-lap old hard compound tires. He's going to have his work cut out for him. Remember, those hard tires do take some working into as far as getting them back to their optimum temperature is concerned. P4 for Kapoza. Tsepiso, P5, fresh set of soft tires. S. Buddha, P6. What a day for him that would be if he could finish here and thereabouts. Decent points haul.
What a day. If you could hold on to that P6, that would be a very, very great result for Buddha, because he's been struggling for points this season, and P6 for him would do him good, actually, because the next race is, I think Abu Dhabi is also one of his favorites to Buddha. So he needs to score points here. It should be a huge achievement for him.
Absolutely. Buddha, one to watch as we tick down towards the final. Oh, he has a spin, as we say that. So those hard tires quite cold, and Buddha has a little bit of a moment coming out of that final chicane. He's now down to P7 as a result. Zotal will say, well, thank you very much for that. P6 for him. He is going to be the hunted, says Crash. They're going to be hunting him down. Hard tires. He's right is sandwiched between all these soft tires. Man, Josh, a damn ninja, P8 currently.
Especially Josh who's next to him. I hope they won't touch because Josh is like he's driving. He takes. Yabo abantu bama-taxi bangena izifo nje imoto ayilimali nje. Because Josh, that's how he drives. He's a taxi driver on this. Especially this season, Josh has been ruthless. He's been aggressive, you know.
I-super license kaJosh ithole lapha eNorth lapha eBria khona abantu abashayisa nama-license la uJosh ithole la i-super license lapha eBria yabona ngabo 6 ekuseni ya
ngempela
ngabo 6 ekuseni makalanda amagwinya lapha ekhoneni ya ithole lapha i-super license kaJosh.
Indeed, and Neville currently running P9 and D-Wax and Gawako P10, the final runner in the points. Liddy has relented since the safety car is still out. Liddy decided, you know what, I'll come into the pit since the safety car is still coming out. And M. Shengu, who has been lapped, is at the back of the pack. Good move by Liddy to pit. Says Crash, yes?
I think you know, Ludi has one supporter. Crash has been vowing for Ludi, but every time there's a restart, Ludi just falls back. He says, I don't know what's going on. He's just like, he's like his car is driving with brakes and Amafu at the same time. You know, so I don't know what's happening with him. But let's hope and see. Maybe there's gonna be someone spinning, or you know, or maybe Crash or anyone, you know, and then maybe he can
take advantage.
Yeah, true.
Ile mechanic wase-McLaren manesh bafake ikuzosi Toyota kule moto lena man. That's why sometimes you know inama issue le moto yaka Ludi mara ibuzosama masasa.
And maybe Uzuzama, yes, indeed. The safety car is in this lap. Let's see if he can, Liddy can keep it together. But of course, the big battle is out in front.
Drama time.
Drama time indeed. Sikle is the one who has the advantage. He will have the biggest say as far as the race start is concerned. We saw Malusi send it while he was coming out of that chicane. Will Sikle do the same? Over here, Malusi is right on his tail. Malusi's giving him nothing. Look at that. He goes straight onto the battery powered with Malusi. He's right within the slipstream as Malusi. Will he go for it into turn one? Seppo Temba is fighting for his life to stay within touching distance. Just a tenth between P1 and P2. Malusi still P2. He's not able to get his move done, but Sikle needs to be inch perfect through this slaloming section. Malusi's there and thereabouts. What about Seppo Temba? Remember now, he has full battery power. Composa already before the end of sector 1, he is teetering on the brink of falling out of DRS. These top three absolutely sensational, Tindo. Oh, Malusi thought about it coming out of that curve, but he tucks right back into the slipstream of the Haas driver. He is there and thereabouts.
Just same corner. I don't know why he wants to go in that corner. He keeps on making the same mistake that he spun last time. He's trying to squeeze himself again on that same corner again. Hey,
Josh, aka Damn Ninja, too aggressive. That Bree Street super license not giving him such a good time out here today. But here comes Malusi through the spoon curve, wider than Sikle, but still within half a second of the Haas driver. Meanwhile, Seppo Temba is still hanging on as well. They hurtle down towards 130R, and the top three have built a buffer of about a second and a half between themselves and Composa, who is fighting on those hard compound tires under attack from a barrage of soft tire runners, that being Cepiso and Zota. But right now we're watching the battle for the race lead. Sikle is the quickest man on track, 133.5. Malusi is going to bide his time, stay within DRS, perhaps overtake him at a later point, and just hope that Sikle uses up all of his battery power. But as I say that, Malusi, who's running in the slipstream, has a lower percentage as far as battery power than Sikle. So interesting, Sikle is keeping it together, but also saving his battery power, knowing that it's going to be crucial later on, Tindo.
Yeah, no, it is. But let's see what's happening. Usota is closing on Chaps very, is moving actually.
Let's catch up with that battle. The soft tires hunting down Composa in the Williams. Zotal thinks about it, but he's nowhere near close enough to overtake the Ferrari. Who will be wider coming out of this? Zotal hugs the apex, but looks like that Cepiso gets the cleaner exit by some margin. Yeah, behind these guys by a factor of about 3 seconds is S. Buddha, who is holding off another pair of soft tire runners. So the hard tire running Williams drivers holding their own, doing their best to keep these soft tires runners quiet. Kapoza is keeping Sapiso and Zotal quiet. S. Buddha. Did Josh spin again?
No, you managed to hold it. You managed to hold it for the spoon curve. You managed to hold it.
Josh almost having a huge moment. Meanwhile, it looks like Josh and D-Wax are having another battle. These two have been sensational. So much drama in this race we saw earlier before the safety car, and they're still going at it again. Let's see if Ngawako, aka D-Wax, can dispatch of the Alfa Romeo driver. Liddy is running 5.8 seconds behind this pair, and Josh gets a superb exit out of that final turn. Ngawako, D-Wax, really coming unstuck, coming out of that chicane. He was close, but right now he's going to have to fight his way back into the reckoning. Meanwhile, Seppo Temba is fighting Malusi the Malusi. He's about 4/10 behind the Mercedes, who himself is teetering on the brink of falling out of DRS. It's the battle for the race lead. 5 laps of racing to go out here in Japan. Can Seppo Temba get this done? He's hanging on, once again using so much of his battery to stay within touching distance. 32% worth of his battery remaining. Meanwhile, Malusi is down to about 60, soon to be 50% of his battery power as he looks to hang on to the hat of Sikle, who has been sensational, having fought his way back from the back of the pack and now leads this race in lap 22 of 27 by a factor of 1.1 seconds. Another beautiful race from the championship leader, Tendo.
Yeah, Sitle, I don't know. I've said this so many times. You know, he shouldn't be racing with us. We should be actually watching Sitle on YouTube. You know, like, hey, guys, esports is starting now. Sitle, you know, because now the way, you know, it's just like he's playing with us. You know, like everyone. It's like we're not on his leg. Like he's opening the gate now. 1.6 seconds now for Melusi, and we're hoping Melusi was gonna, you know, take away the win streak of Usitle, but you know, it looks like Melusi is also under pressure from TT as well, and yeah, and also Josh's mistakes are costing him because now he's being aggressive. Whenever he's aggressive, he's losing time. Like they're so close now. He just passed Us Buddha with this aggressiveness, though. But yeah, let's hope, you know, his soft will last long.
Yep, Josh finding himself now fighting to stay within the points. Meanwhile, Seppo Temba goes really heavy on the curbs there. Interestingly, it's been a beautiful race as far as track limits and track limit warnings are concerned. No 3-second time penalties in lap 23 of 27. So, beautiful racing, beautiful driving. All these top-tier drivers.
Lodi is alone there, just spinning with these yellow flags. Let me see if he just damaged his wing.
Liddy having a damaged wing, possibly having to come back into the pits. Meanwhile, Sikle has built a buffer of 2.2 seconds between himself and Malusi the Malusi in P2. 44% worth of battery power for the W13. He's just going to be fighting to make sure that Seppo Temba, who's down to 16% of his battery, just stays down in P3. Those are your podium runners thus far. Kapoza, P4. A beautiful race, a beautiful result potentially for the Williams driver, especially considering he was under insane levels of attack by a horde of soft tire runners. Zotal is now fighting to get back somehow to within touching distance of Kapoza, but he has 3.2 seconds as that gap. Meanwhile, Kapoza is bridging the gap between himself and Seppo Temba. It was 2 odd seconds, but now it's down to 1.8 seconds. There goes the Ferrari there, and the Mercedes of Malusi the Malusi. So Kapoza can see them, and those 10-lap-old hard compound tires will definitely be having some sort of an advantage on those soft tire runners specifically that are chasing Kapoza back here. Meanwhile, D-Wax was fighting with the likes of Josh and right now finds himself mired in a battle with S. Buddha. It's the battle for P9. S. Buddha could not keep the soft tire runners at bay. He slid down the pecking order here and finds himself down in P9. And he's under attack from D-Wax. 6-lap-old soft tires. Can D-Wax get this move done? The soft tires have reached their peak, says Wendell Chesney. 7-lap-old soft tires for most of the guys running in the midfield from Zotal onwards.
I did mention that they were not supposed to guys to pit. They should have been stuck with their medium tires, whatever tire they were in. Because now the soft, they don't last long here. They don't, trust me, they don't. Now they're gonna see the real pace. If Buddha is all keep up with the pace, you might find himself in P7 or 6, you know, because he's gonna be but he's too far from Utsapi's.
Yep, and as they try to catch up, as Sikle stretches his lead to 3.5 seconds, the big battle now is for P2. And it looks like Seppo Temba, despite his battery usage, is giving Malusi a headache of notes in the final couple of laps, Simbo.
Yeah, he is. I think if Seppo is clever, you just need to keep up with the same pace. Maybe I'm shy on the last lap. You know, I'm trying at DRS. He must be way closer, you know, maybe 3 tenths there. And on the straight line on the last lap, I'm shy. You will never pass him again. You will take P2.
Well, let's see if Seppo Temba can get this move done. He's used up so much of his battery just to keep pace here, but he's definitely having a better time, a better stab at it here. Sikle's gap is now 4.3 seconds. And as these two fight it out, the Spectre of Kaboza looms large, 1.9 seconds behind this pair. Lap 25 and 27, there's another yellow flag a little bit further ahead. Lydia's fallen out of the reckoning for the point. Soft tires, but struggling. He finds himself so far behind Buddha, who seems to be the final man to claim the points here today in this penultimate lap. Seppo Temba thought about going on the outside of the W13 of Malusi the Malusi, but did not have enough as far as being close enough was concerned. Malusi the Malusi has turned his attentions from Sikle ahead of him to the Ferrari behind him to keep him at bay so that he can claim this P2 spot and the second spot on the podium. Malusi the Malusi huffed and he puffed and he tried so hard, but he could not keep Sikle at bay and could not hang on to the race lead. They're now going to lap Malusi's teammate, that being M. Shengu, but I think it's the ghost of M. Shengu because I remember him leaving the lobby, leaving the session earlier on. They go through him without incident, and Seppo Temba, it's going to be now or never for him in this penultimate lap. Final opportunity to claim some decent points here.
You need to be close. You need to be close. You need to be close. Very close. Like, you need to be close. Because now, if you can pass him on the next DRS, that would be perfect for him because he can just hold on with Melus all the way. Because it's hard to overtake here, except for that the last stretch and the first stretch. You know.
Absolutely difficult to overtake if you're not driving with surgical precision. Seppo Temba 7 tenths behind the W13. Can he get it done? Meanwhile, some other storylines as far as the final positions are concerned. It is Tepiso versus Zotail. Ferrari versus Alpine for that P5 spot. It would have been nice to have Brown Boy there and thereabouts, says Crash. Absolutely, he would have been given those top three a lot to think about as well. D-Wax has overcome Nebo seemingly to take P8, and Nebo slips down to that 9th spot, about a half a second now behind the Alpha Tauri. But he's going to have to watch it. He's going to have to be careful. So many drivers have lost it here. We've seen drivers spinning pretty much having unforced errors in qualifying and in the race proper, but he managed to come out of that section unscathed. Seppo Temba versus Malusi the Malusi. Towards
let's see the last corner. I hope he doesn't do the Zotail, Zolonto.
Oh yes, on that same chicane where Zotail had so much joy versus Sikle a couple of seasons ago. Malusi's red light is flashing. Meanwhile, it looks like Sikle is already making his way on the final chicane. He leads by a factor of 6.5 seconds to claim the race win in Japan. It is Sikle, it is Haas, once again, top of the pops. And here comes Malusi the Malusi with the fastest lap of Sikle, and Malusi the Malusi hangs on for P2. from Tsepo Temba, who huffed and puffed but could not get that move done. What a day for Kaposa. P4,
What a day for
2.6
Kaposa.
seconds behind those top runners. Zotao is going to come home by some margin ahead of... Tapiso and Josh. Tapiso might have spun because Josh again, Damnesia, is going to finish P6. Tapiso comes home P7. Is that a damaged wing? Perhaps. No, it's not, but he might have spun. Ngawako D-Wax P8. And Nebo finished 9th place. And Liddy is going to come. And Nebo finished 10th. And Esbuda P9, so he's going to be happy with that. It's a point finish for the Williams driver. And Nebo is the final driver to finish in the points. And Liddy Tsepo, who had a golden opportunity to claim some decent points out here. Unfortunately for the McLaren driver, it's going to be P11 finishing outside the points. It's close, but no cigar for the McLaren driver in lap 27 of 27. Oh, but he sends it into the wall. oh, well. Isn't that something, Liddy T?
I'm sure he's
but
angry
it says
with the
P10.
He's angry with engineers. They gave him a car that doesn't move.
Well, Sikle is the games driver of the day. Is he your driver of the day? Let us know in the comment section.
Yeah,
he started at the back of the pack. Absolutely sensational stuff. Congratulations, Sikle. Take us through the drama, number one, of how you ended up sitting out the qualifying session, and especially that safety car, which slowed Malusi down and gave you that P1 spot, and you held Malusi off. Just take us through that. Congratulations, CK.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that feels so amazing, my guy.
Wait, before you
that
answer.
feels so good.
Before you answer,
that feels good, man.
Before you answer, before you answer Chadson's question,
what do you mean?
I'm a man. You should be. We should be watching you somewhere else, bruh. Like we should be making millions, somewhere else. Cause really, like you're making all these guys not like they're not stressing,
No, but beautiful stuff, CK. Fastest lap on the final lap. What the heck was that? Just take us through that race, CK.
Hard. Yeah, that was tricky. It was hard keeping up with the front. I was so hesitant. I didn't want to spin again. So yeah, I just watched them pull away, but I knew that towards the end of the stint, my tires would be better because they are pushing way harder than ours. Reason why I was able to pull up so close before Melo pitted. With the mediums, I had more confidence. I could feel the grip under me. And as the laps went on, oh my God, I just felt more and more in my zone. And it all played off well.
Beautifully played off, beautifully, and we had our hearts in our mouths recently as both you and Tsepo Temba came into the pits, and we wondered where the Malusi would fare there, but he tucked right in between you two. We're going to move now on to the man who finished on the podium once again. A beautiful, challenging race. Tsepo Temba, P3, congratulations.
Thank you, man. What a race. That was fun. I think it's one of the races I've enjoyed the most this season so far. That was good.
Absolutely beautiful stuff. Take us through, before the safety cars, we saw you using so much of your battery just to hang on to the coattails of those guys. How challenging was that? And also, you had a beautiful battle with Malusi towards the end there. Take us through those final laps as well.
Initially, when I started, I was using a lot of ERS because I saw that most of the guys were starting on the mediums. So I was trying to get the fastest lap. And then hoping that the guys on the hards wouldn't be able to match the time. But, obviously, safety car changes strategy. And yeah, man. During the end, it was good, man. Just sticking with Melo, and yeah, that was a nice and clean battle.
Man, that was beautiful stuff. Malusi the Malusi is back on the podium on his some might call his home race. We know it's one of his favorite tracks. He took pole position in beautiful fashion. Take us through that Q3 Melo the Melo. And that battle with Seatley, we were just talking with him. Our hearts were in our mouths. The safety car came out, presumably slowing you down. But It was so dramatic watching you tuck right between Temba and Sihle coming out of the safety car.
Yeah, man. Yeah, congrats, man. Congrats, Sihle. Hey, TT, once again, congrats, boy. Congrats, boy.
Thank you, boy.
Oh, what a race. Q3 was a mess. So on Q3, on my final run, on my final attempt, I spun, I think, in sector 1. So
yeah.
Then I didn't have enough fuel to go again, so I was going to the pit. So Chigi front boy becomes purple boy. I'm like, this guy. So I literally started my hot lap with 0.9 worth of fuel.
Wow.
In attempt to do so, and luckily I was able to squeeze in pole. So yeah, that was purely luck in quali. Shout out to the guys in the garage, man, for not bringing me in. And then the race was wild. A rough start as usual. Managed to come back, fight with TT. While I think TT and I have it, there's a house now behind us. Oh my God. You end up using more ERS, you end up getting more adrenaline. Then safety car, I decided to box to protect my lead because Sihle was about half a second behind me. So I decided to box early. Then safety car comes out, but fortunately enough, as soon as Delta came up, for some odd reason, my Delta was 4 seconds. I can't explain how that happened. So I was able to push all the way until I crossed the start finish. And unfortunately, I couldn't pass Sihle, but I managed to pass TT, which is what I believe secured P2. Because September and I today, I think pound for pound, you couldn't separate us today.
Absolutely beautiful driving. Temba actually wanted to ask about was it coming out of the it's totally slipped my mind. Sihle, actually I'll start with you. Tell us about what it means when, let's say, you were saying in the comments you were hoping for a podium and to kind of claim a race when in these sort of circumstances, and how it feels when it was as dramatic as it was when you had to fight your way in this instance.
Tyson, it all just worked out well for me. My starts, that is the best start I've actually ever had, ever. Safety car came out at the right time. I was in the pit. It all really just played out well. Melo and Temba were very quick. They pulled away from me. I think after the first safety car, I was third place at the time. They just pulled away from me. And yeah, I knew what I was up against. Honestly, a lot of luck. But yeah, still happy about it.
Absolutely beautiful stuff, man. Beautiful stuff. You voted unanimously driver of the day by the game. People in the comment section as well cheering you on. A beautiful drive, Sihle there. Tindo, any final remarks or questions before we wrap up the stream?
No. I have no questions, but it was just a good race. I was hoping for you, Melus, to win the race. Trust me, I was vowing for you, bruh. And I was your number one fan. And we had Christopher as well on the comments. He was Ludi's number one fan, and Ludi kept on disappointing him. But, no, it was a good race. And also for Sihle, bruh, I need you to go into EA Sports now. They need to get you a seat in the eSport gaming. And trust me, no, you did well. And also TT. And I think you guys and the Ferrari, they need to have a discussion with Uteps, because what he did to Bangobi and Zota, it was not on. So, but, other than that, let's just share, let's share the word. Breakaway of Monday to Thursday, 7:30, 9 p.m. on Mondays, and Wednesday, 7:30, Tuesdays. Let's spread the word. Let's have more viewers.
Absolutely. Ending it off on such a positive note. What a beautiful qualifying, a beautiful race we've had. One of the classics indeed. Sihle, Temba, and Malusi the Malusi on the podium. Let's catch up with your final comments. Thank you for taking part. TT needed one more lap. He could have got that overtake done, says Django, presumably. And let's see, TT and Melo made it quite an interesting race towards the end there, says Longello. Driver of the day, Sihle, says Wendell Shezzy. Thank you, Pangani, Dini, Crash, Django, Glenn Carson, everybody who was watching, and we will see you in the comment section when Tier 2 and 3 race in Abu Dhabi tomorrow. 7:30 for Tier 2, 9 p.m. for Tier 3. Thank you, gentlemen. Congratulations. We will see you in Abu Dhabi on Thursday.
Thank you
so much.
Thank
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good night, guys.
Thank you, everybody, and good night.